Welcome to The Awakened Heart, a podcast for healing women, a space where your voice matters, your body is sacred, and your journey home to yourself is always honored, no matter how winding the road. I'm Autumn Moran, licensed professional counselor, life coach, yoga instructor, but ultimately your companion on this divine path we call healing. And today we're going to dive into a conversation that hits close to home for so many of us: burnout, overwhelm, and what happens when the body just says, I'm done. If you've ever hit that point where rest doesn't seem to help, when even the smallest things feel impossible, you might not be dealing with just burnout. You might be in neurodivergent shutdown. And I say this not as a diagnosis, but as a lived reality. As someone who's lived with trauma, who's neurodivergent, and who's worked with clients navigating the same space, I've come to see that burnout and shutdown are not the same thing. They can overlap, but they speak different languages of exhaustion. So today we're going to talk about what's really happening inside your body and your brain, how to recognize which one you're in, and how to support yourself, not with just quick fixes, but with deep nervous system care. Take a deep breath with me before we begin. Inhale deeply through the nose. Let that belly rise high. Hold that breath at the top. And when you exhale, let it out of the mouth slowly and gently. All right, let's dive into something that we might all have experienced or are experiencing. Burnout is a word we throw around all the time, but it's actually describing something very specific. Burnout is defined as a state of chronic depletion. It's what happens when you've been under pressure for too long, at work, at home, in relationships, and your energy reserves are gone, depleted, disappeared, not there. You might feel tired, cynical, unmotivated, numb, even foggy. You can often still function, but it feels like you're running on fumes. Now, a neurodivergent shutdown, or what some people call like autistic burnout or an ADHD crash, that's different. That's not just, I'm tired. This is your nervous system powering down. It's what happens when the sensory input, the emotional labor, the social performance, all the rules, all the responsibilities, all the self-care, all of it becomes too much. It's your brain saying, I can't process anymore. And it's also your body saying, we need to shut down this system so we can survive. So from the outside, both can look very similar, but inside, burnout feels like dragging yourself through quicksand. Shutdown feels like disappearing underneath that quicksand. So simply put, burnout is the body whispering, I'm tired. Shutdown is the body declaring, I'm done. So what's going on underneath these experiences is biology. This isn't about willpower or weakness. Your nervous system has a built-in stress cycle: activation, fatigue, collapse. When you're burned out, your body's been in fight or flight for too long. That's the sympathetic state. You're still running, you're still moving, you're still trying. Shutdown, though, that's when your system flips into freeze, or what is called dorsal vagal state. It's your body's emergency brake. You might go quiet, you might space out. Again, you might feel numb or detached. You might sleep a lot, or you might not sleep at all. You might lose words, have no motivation, or have a really hard time caring for yourself, or just a hard time caring in general about anything. And this isn't you giving up. It's your body protecting you, believe it or not. It's your body saying, we've exceeded capacity and we're going to power down until it's safe again. And being neurodivergent or trauma experienced, that capacity can be reached a lot faster than people that have not experienced trauma or neurodiversity. Masking, sensory overload, emotional labor, perfectionism, and trauma all accelerate that drain. So no, this is not laziness. It's a nervous system event. So telling the difference if you're in burnout or shutdown, how do you tell? What do you do? What does it look like? If you're burned out, you might still want to do things. You just can't seem to muster the energy. You might care, but feel resentful, foggy, or overextended. You're still moving, but everything feels heavy. If you're in shutdown, though, it's like someone has simply unplugged you. You might not feel much of anything. You might zone out. You might scroll endlessly, or you might feel like a sort of flatness, kind of nothingness, just existence. Even rest doesn't help. So let's take a breathe and assess break. Take a nice deep inhale in. Let that belly rise high. Slowly exhale your breath and ask yourself, do I feel drained or do I feel gone? Drain points toward burnout. Gone, like you're watching life from a distance, points toward shutdown. Neither one of them is good or bad, right or wrong. This is just what is. Both of them are your body saying, I need something different. I need some support. I need to be accommodated. If you're in burnout, you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to nourish yourself back into alignment. And this can look like simple meals, hydration, and sunlight. So like stomp my foot, bang my fist on the desk to get your attention. This is what I'm saying to you now. Simple meals every 4 hours. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert if you have the capacity. Sometimes you probably won't because you'll be so satiated. Start simple. Meet yourself where you're at. When you eat breakfast in the morning, which is something you should do within the first hour of waking up, before you take in coffee, before you take in caffeine, drink some warm water and have some breakfast. Meet yourself where you're at with your breakfast as you're creating this routine. Be as simple, not hands-on, but on the go as possible. Same thing with hydration. Buy bottles of water, fill up your water containers, have them ready for you to carry around with you. And if you can, stand in front of a window, stand on a balcony, a porch, a backyard, walk around the neighborhood, get some morning sunlight. Self-care, first thing for yourself in the morning. Introduce low effort, high comfort activities. A nice soothing playlist. I have a wonderful, motivating playlist on Spotify. The songs are also on Apple, but I'm only human and this is just where my music is. So please forgive me without judgment. Divine Woman, the link is in my show notes. It is all inspirational, motivating, empowering music for you and your soul. Listen to something that is light, that is not focused on love, romance, heartbreak, booty shaking. Keep it instrumental if you need to. Make sure your activity is quiet and safe with you, safe environment, safe company. Release the guilt around doing less. Redefine what productivity means to you. Throw away all the societal definitions and chuck all those societal rules and pressures in the fuck it bucket. Do less, not because you've earned it, not because you need it, but because it is part of self-care. Slow the fuck down. Also, in burnout recovery, say no without explanation, without justifying. Just a no. And restore meaning through gentle creativity, not productivity. Burnout recovery is slow and it's sacred. It's learning to live within your limits instead of constantly outrunning them. Now, if you're in shutdown, this approach is a little different. You can't think or talk your way out of it. You need to re-enter your body slowly and safely. Starting with sensory comforts. Dim the lights, For the love of God, get the old school light bulbs. Do not use LED lights. Soft clothing, soft blankets. Buy you a new fuzzy blanket or pull one out of the closet. Get a weighted blanket if you will. Pets on your belly if you can. And a quiet space. Just a quiet, safe, appropriately lit to your sensory needs space. Invite warmth, a bath, tea, blanket, sunshine. Movement helps, and I'm not talking about cardio or strength training. I'm talking about rocking, swaying, slow, gentle walks, yin yoga, yoga nidra, restorative yoga. If all else fails, put the legs up the wall, put an ice pack on your chest, and breathe deeply for 10 to 20 minutes. If words feel hard, you don't have to force them. You can stop talking. If connections feel too much, start with safe presence, a pet, music, nature. It's okay to go off the grid. And this is not about reactivation. It's not about getting back to normal. The goal isn't to just rest and get back into things. The goal isn't to do more. It's about feeling safe, existing by creating accommodations for yourself in your environment, and accommodating your daily responsibilities by delegating, by asking for help, by learning and creating better systems at work and at home that keep your sensory overwhelm underwhelmed, if you will. So some body movement. I've talked a little bit about body movement, and I often enjoy and recommend, I've said it, our legs up the wall. It regulates your vagus nerve, it lowers cortisol, and it signals your body that you can rest. 10 minutes minimum, 20 minutes max. Supported child's pose, your big toes touching, your knees out wide, and put a few pillows, as many as you want, stacked on top of each other in between your legs. And let's just fold your body over and just breathe deeply into your back body. Just nice big breaths. I said it and I'll say it again. Gentle rocking, shaking, swaying, either seated or standing. This can slowly awaken you from the frozen state. I mean, this is just about rocking back and forth in bed and then getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and faster until you're ready to move. Slowly shake yourself out of freeze state. And I want you to remember, these aren't workouts. These aren't considered body movements as far as like I'm burning calories and losing weight movements. These are nervous system whispers. These are moments to regulate and honor yourself. And if you're listening and realizing you've been living in chronic burnout or shutdown for months, even years, you're not alone. And this is something I support clients through every day inside my practice. I help you connect to your body's wisdom, rewire your stress patterns, and learn nervous system care that actually fits you. If this sounds something you need, you can find out more in the show notes, in the link tree. Click on that link tree, click on my consultation form, fill it out. Let's have a free 15-minute convo to see if we're a good fit. Because you don't have to recover alone, and you don't have to keep pushing through the pain. That is old boomer and beyond messaging that has never, ever helped anyone. It is time to write your life with your rules based on what you want, not because of something you've been conditioned or learned to do. Despite social norms and societal messaging, burnout and shutdown aren't proof that you're failing. They're proof that your system has been doing too much for too long with too little safety. You're not fragile, you're adaptive. When you start listening to what your body's asking, everything begins to shift. You stop chasing this balance and start practicing capacity. Pay attention to your capacity. You don't heal by doing more, you heal by doing differently. So let's take a final deep breath together, if you will, wherever you're at. Inhale deeply, let that belly rise, and say to yourself, I listen to my body. And as you exhale even deeper, say to yourself, I trust my body's wisdom. You don't have to prove your worth through productivity. You don't have to fix yourself to deserve rest. Burnout is saying you've given too much for too long, and shutdown is saying you've been holding too much alone. Both of them are invitations for you to soften, pause, and build your rhythm from gentleness. If this episode helps you feel more understood and less alone, please share it with another neurodivergent or trauma experienced woman who might need it. I'd love to hear from you. Message me, comment, or follow. Like I said earlier, I offer virtual sessions, whether you're healing trauma, navigating a big life shift, or just ready to feel at home within yourself. I hold space for women just like you every single day, and it is my blessing, my honor, my privilege, just my life's goal to help the world feel happy and free. If that's something you're curious about, fill out that consultation form, check out that Spotify playlist, get some good stuff in your ears. You are never too much, you're never too late, and you're never too far gone. And you don't have to figure it out all alone. Until next time, my dears, may you be happy and free. May mine and your healing ripple outward to bless the world with happiness and freedom. Take care of you, and I'll see you soon.